Hey, yo, how's it going? Cheers, good morning, good morning. Oh, you guys can't see me yet. Hey, yo, oh, what's up? Cheers, good morning, good morning. Hey, yo, how's it going? Welcome back, welcome back. How are we feeling today? What's up? Let's say hey to everybody. Kenny, Miyagi, Willem, the Great Pate, Sebastian, Kenny, JD, Bob, Junkies, Crypto Time, Hamed, Lakeside, Sebastian, Mo, XRP Grind, JMQ, what's up, Mark? What's up, Bill Gold, Mr. Cool, Jose H2, David OK, ONG. What's up, guys? Kenny Williams, I agree. Kenny Williams, I like your analogy. Oh wait, I gotta press record on this, or else this will go off. Wait. Okay, woo-hoo-hoo, we're ready to go. Good morning. Hello. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. How are you feeling, boys and girls? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is. Welcome back. How are you all feeling today? We had I know it was rough. It was a rough day yesterday. We had to do it though. We had to drop an XRP hate video. Why hate XRP? I think honestly it's a false flag operation. Conspiracy. I'm just playing. I mean, there's a little bit of that. You guys watched the video. It probably is not the most popular video. I can assume some of you guys might not have even clicked on it. You're like, XRP hate? I can't click. I refuse to support this message. Don't worry. If you didn't watch it, it's a chill video. It's really just it's gonna lure in XRP haters and then throw some knowledge at them. Be like, bam, bam. What's up with that? What it do? Hello. How's it going? Good morning, everyone. What's happening? Haters gonna hate. That's right. They hate us. Because they ain't us. That's right. Is drinking margaritas and listening to Katy Perry gay, Dave? I love that movie. That's a funny movie. If drinking margaritas and listening to Katy Perry's gay, then I don't want to be straight. That's funny. All right. Well, here we are looking at the market cap of the coins, or we're coin market cap. We're looking at the top coins inside 24 hours. Normally, we don't ever do this. This way. Normally, we just jump on here and we're like, woo, it's bright, it's loud, and let's throw some news at you. True Sky, you and I, we can relate on that. I came into this space also not really understanding XRP, mostly because I listened to my friends who were confused and they were Bitcoin maximalists. But yeah, BTC had a nice little pump for a while. It was up above 8K, and now we're back below 300 billion. We're below 290 billion, actually, at 288 billion. And Bitcoin dropped below 7.9. It was at 7.8, and then now we're headed back up slightly at 7.9. Everything in the top 20 is in the red, and we don't normally do this at all. Everything in the top 20 is in the red except for Binance Coin. We don't normally do this, but I just had my good supporter and friend Robert Lee sent me this video, and that's why I was late. Sorry I was late today. Trying to do it 10:30, 10:35, 10:40, and I was actually just watching this video sent to me, and I didn't have time to really edit it and pull it apart or whatever. But I think we should all watch it. I think this is a good video for us all to watch. Shout out, cheers to Robert for sending it to me this morning. I was just watching it, and I think we should all watch it together. I'm going to share it with you guys. And also, in reality, the commercial here is pretty cool, too. It's pretty cool. It's about masculinity, but we'll skip that. We'll skip that commercial.
For more exclusive content from CNBC
okay.
Crypto Trader, hit the subscribe button.
Let's check this out.
With the bear market now in full swing, I decided to catch up with my friend Tushar Jain, who's the co-founder of Multi.
Let me turn it up. Okay.
Capital. Tushar, welcome.
Hey, Ren. Good to see you.
So we're here in this co-working space here in San Francisco called The Bureau. They've let us use their office as a studio because you're traveling here on business, attracting capital, I suppose.
Mostly meeting with teams.
Looking at teams.
Yeah.
Tushar, how are you guys trading this dip in the market?
So, as your viewers probably know, crypto can be quite volatile, and sometimes it is best to do nothing. So we are actually not actively trading at the moment. We were well positioned a few months ago, and we're really just looking at this as risk management right now. We don't know where this bear market ends. I don't think anyone does. I don't think that anyone can really call the bottom for sure. We like to think about the world probabilistically, and so I think that right now there is a high probability of the market continuing to fall, and so I want to kind of stay out of the market, or at least be risk neutral.
When you say be risk neutral, let's talk about the actual trades that you're doing to be risk neutral. Give us some example of the trades.
So when I say risk neutral, it's important to understand like how to think about risk. There's broadly two categories of risk. There's idiosyncratic risk and there's systemic risk or market risk, right? So idiosyncratic risk is risk that is specific to one asset, right? So Ethereum has idiosyncratic risk in terms of scaling plans, right? Versus systemic risk is, well, the whole market could continue going down, and seeing how correlated the market is, systemic risk is a very important part of the risk, right? So when I say risk neutral, what I really mean is that we want to be neutral on systemic risk, where we are willing to take on idiosyncratic risk.
So let's talk about specific trades that you're doing that are taking on that risk.
An example of that would be short Litecoin, long Bitcoin, in equal amounts, right? And the reason why this trade, I would call this systemic risk neutral, is that if the whole market moves together, up or down, that trade would not be exposed to the market movements. However, if we are right on our idiosyncratic theses, that Bitcoin has a much stronger value proposition than Litecoin, which is just a glorified testnet. Like no one can literally no one I've talked to can give me a reason why Litecoin needs to be worth anything.
So you're saying that Litecoin, in your view, is actually a $5 billion testnet for Bitcoin?
Yes, and it should be worth far less than that. It should be worth less than a tenth of that.
So you're saying if you short Litecoin and you long Bitcoin, if the market goes down, Litecoin will go down quicker than Bitcoin will go down. If the market goes up, then Bitcoin will lead the rally.
That's my expectation, yes.
And so you're willing to be short Litecoin and long Bitcoin in this time?
Correct.
Let's talk about some other trades that you guys are trading at this time.
Another example of this type of trade is short Ripple, long Bitcoin. Once again, we're back to the long Bitcoin side. Not particularly because we're the most bullish on Bitcoin. It's just that Bitcoin is one of the cryptocurrencies with a very established value proposition. And in a bear market, I do expect to see a certain flight to quality to assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum that have real value propositions that have gotten real adoption more than like the speculative value proposition of several of the smaller or less well-known crypto assets.
Let's talk about the idiosyncratic risk around shorting XRP. What are you shorting there? What's your expectation around XRP? Why are you so comfortable to short it?
There's a few things that make me comfortable shorting XRP. One is that I don't believe that the token economics are sound. Even with their XRapid product, which they like to talk up quite a lot, the velocity of the Ripple token is extremely high. So even if they were processing all of the world's international remittances, including all bank-to-bank transfers, the velocity is so high that the Ripple token or all of the Ripple tokens in aggregate need to be worth very little in order to actually facilitate that. That's thing number one.
Let's take a step back and focus on point number one, because they talk a lot about the XRapid system. And what they say is that XRapid is a bank-to-bank money transfer system, cross-border money transfer system. And if a bank wants to send US dollars to a UK bank in, say, pounds, they would trade into XRapid and then sell the XRapid position and into Great Britain pounds. What's the problem with that formula? Why does that not create scarcity in a token?
So to be more precise, I think the way that the XRapid system works is, let's say you're a bank in the US, you would have to, basically you're buying XRP tokens with your $1 billion, sending those XRP tokens to whichever bank in the UK, which then sells it immediately for British pounds. The problem is that no one is holding the token, right? It is something where, like, let's say, even if you're sending $1 billion transaction, right? Well, you only need the whole network to be worth $1 billion in order to handle that transaction.
So what happens one day when there's huge transaction volumes, way more than the number of XRP in circulation or the value of the XRP in circulation?
That could cause some price volatility, which would definitely be a negative for the banks, because the tools to hedge out price volatility do not exist for XRP. There are no futures, there are no options, and I cannot imagine the bank calling their corporate client for whom they were transferring the money, talking to the treasurer and saying, so we sent your money to the UK from the US, but we lost 5% of it because of the volatility of a cryptocurrency. That bank gets fired immediately, like done. That is an unacceptable business risk.
So what's the second reason why you're not a big XRP bull?
The second biggest reason is I think that there is a real chance that XRP could be declared a security by the SEC. I don't know for sure, but based on the most recent statement where the SEC talked about Ethereum not being a security, they mostly pointed out that the Ethereum network was decentralized enough that you could no longer claim that when someone was purchasing Ethereum, that they were doing so with the expectation that there was a specific group that would be working to advance the Ethereum network and increase its price.
And you think in the case of XRP, the fact that they have a relationship with Ripple or Ripple Labs that is the problem?
Yes. So when you look at the Howey test, there's 4 prongs to it, right? There's needs to be pooled capital, so you need to raise some money. Ripple does this through their sales. They sold $150 million a quarter of XRP tokens out of their treasury. So they are raising money from the general public. Second, it needs to be for a common enterprise, right? So Ripple Inc. provides that enterprise because Ripple Inc. is solely and predominantly responsible for marketing the Ripple products that use XRP and give the XRP token any value. Without Ripple Inc., the XRP token is worthless, absolutely worthless. Why would you need the XRP token if this corporation, which I think is a successful, well-run corporation, but if that corporation did not exist, the XRP token is worthless. If the Ethereum Foundation disappears tomorrow, Ethereum still has value.
The third reason? The third part of the Howey test?
So the third part is with the expectation of profit off of the work of others.
Okay.
So that they kind of blend together.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your fund. You've recently announced that you've got some great investors in your fund. New capital's come into your fund. Who are some of the LPs in your fund?
So we've been very lucky in that we get to work with some of the best investors on the planet as LPs. So we've recently announced Fred Wilson from Union Square Ventures has joined, or Union Square Ventures has joined Multicoin as an LP. Fred was gracious enough to announce this via blog post. He's one of my favorite bloggers. I've been following him for 10 years now.
Your thesis on investment in utility tokens today, are you a utility token bull? Are you investing in ICOs, for example, or new utility tokens?
So we are really focused on investing in native tokens of smart contract platforms. And the reason for that is that we think that assets become money by being used as money. That's thing number one, right? I'll take you through a list of assumptions. So thing number one is that assets become money by being used as money because it reinforces the story of this thing is money. Anything can be used as money. It's just that 2 parties need to agree that this is worth something, right? So we believe that if it is used more frequently as money, then more parties will agree, and it reinforces the idea in our head that this thing is money.
Perception is reality.
Exactly, right? So that's number one. Number two is I think that there will be a lot of crypto native use cases, things like gaming or prediction markets or like other just things that we don't even know that we want yet, because a whole new design space has been opened up with the creation of smart contract platforms. And we're seeing this huge rush of really talented, intelligent people run into the blockchain space who want to build a career here. And they're going to build amazing things that we don't even know we want yet. So I'll give you an example. I was a kid growing up in the 90s, and I remember we had 2 really important rules. One was don't meet people from the internet in real life. And 2 was don't get in strangers' cars. Right? But to illustrate how difficult it is to predict what people will build with a technology like the internet, when I leave here, I'm literally going to summon someone from the internet and get in their car. That would have been insane to think about 25, 30 years ago.
We're creating applications that we didn't actually know we needed, or certainly stuff that we couldn't have imagined that we were going to create. But when you talk about the native asset of protocols, which are your favorite protocols today?
Some of my favorite protocols today, of course, Ethereum I've always thought that Ethereum was a fantastic protocol, and
despite the scaling issues that they have.
Yes, I think that this is not a comment on price. I think that the Ethereum network is one of the most amazing things that humanity has ever actually created.
So Ethereum is one?
Ethereum is one. I'm a big fan of EOS.
Why are you guys such big fans of EOS?
I think EOS is running some really interesting experiments. For example, under the new constitution for EOS, there is the ability to have basically regulators as a service. There is a free market of regulators or arbitrators that you can choose to bind your transaction with. So, for example, if you were to have security tokens on EOS, you could choose that all of the transactions that you and I do, or any of us do, regarding this security token is bound to the regulatory authority of a party that we agree on and pay for that privilege. And then that regulatory body can then overturn transactions that were fraudulent or provide other protection from hackers or attacks like the DAO, right? So wherever there is a dispute between the intent of the code and the actual outcome, like what happened with the DAO,
you can choose a regulator.
You can choose a regulator to undo that. So if the DAO had been subject to a arbitrator or a regulator from the EOS ecosystem, it wouldn't have been a messy hard fork to undo it. It would have been, well, all of the parties in a free market agreed to have their transactions bound by this regulator, and you can choose one of any regulator, right? You can choose one regulator for your ESCO contracts. You can choose another regulator for other types of contracts. It's up to you. The DAO would have been far less messy because you would have just been able to.
Yeah. Now, what about the criticism that they've been getting that they're not decentralized? And if you've been reading all the posts on Twitter, you've got, EOS not decentralized, ordering its miners or its block producers to do certain things. Yeah. What about all this criticism? I mean, do you think that they are decentralized? Do you think that they need to be decentralized?
They are exploring a different place on the trade-off between decentralization and scalability.
Hey yo. I know it was rough. I know you guys are like, no, hey, what's up? There we go. I'm back. Cheers. So, yeah, we paused about 13 minutes in. Hey yo. So, I want to address some of the things he's talking about first. First off, I was really enjoying this. And, first off, thank you so much, Robert Lee. I appreciate the support. It means a lot. Thank you so much. And yes, you're 100% correct. I was going to try to mute it just so that the robot could say, they don't know payments over on top of the video. I thought that would have been perfect. And I think first off, like watching these videos. I know that you guys were like, whoa, why are we watching this? He does not like XRP. He said short XRP, and I just saw the room shift like, no. But in reality, I think I like these videos. I like keeping myself informed as to the conversation people are having in rooms that I'm not given access to. And so this is great. This is a good tool. And you can see right off the bat that they just don't understand XRP, and they don't understand the the issues they have with it. I don't remember exactly where in the videos they were, but him specifically specifying that he doesn't see XRP having a use case if Ripple Labs shut down tomorrow. That right away is one of the. I feel like every single thing he said that I want to defud, I've seen on Twitter inside the last week. So I went back to my Twitter, and I think I messaged myself this tweet yesterday. I messaged myself a couple of tweets yesterday. I think this one. So this guy, Jake Chervinsky, goes through and just like grills apart why everyone's already kind of just like confused about if they're worried about Ripple being, losing their security appeal in the market basically, or in the courts. This guy Jake Chervinsky goes through and really kind of discredits any issues that we would have with that. So specifically looking just at this thread really quick to defud his SEC comments. People are always waiting to see what the SEC is going to do in relation to XRP.
No fear. Stay informed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert Lee. I appreciate it. It means a lot. No fear. Stay informed. Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. I really appreciate the ability to hear the counter argument. Like, I like being able to hear, what's that guy's name? Tushar Jain. I like being able to hear. You guys are like making fun of his forehead. Come on, guys. Come on. And I saw someone say they said that he looked gay as a derogatory term. Guys, are we not PC in this room? Guys, can we at least not use gay as a derogatory term? Okay, that's not cool. Very serious, not cool. Second, okay, so he's talking about how XRP has no value without Ripple Labs. That's a blatant lie. That's a blatant lie. I can't remember where the tweet was. I want to find it specifically. I think I retweeted someone saying something about how Bitcoin's talking all about how they're going to be useful, and then in reality they have there's really no use to sending like $3 if it costs you $5 to send it. Here it is. Matsumoto on Twitter dropping this yesterday, or maybe the day before. Day before. I really like this tweet. And I think I retweeted it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did with a comment. I'm not sure. BTC community is the self-proclaimed factor to the world's equality, but people in underdeveloped nations won't pay $30 in fees to transfer $1. XRP is condemned for being a banker's coin, yet it is exactly what the impoverished people will be benefiting to use. So who's the anarchist now? And in reality, this really struck a chord with me because I was just talking about this the other day. I was just talking about how low the barrier of entry is for XRP. I mean, literally, how you could buy $1 of it. If someone would give you access to $1 worth of XRP, you could buy $1 worth, send it to your friend, and it wouldn't even cost you a penny, and you'd still have almost $1. So that's revolutionary in the form of a distributed ledger currency. That's revolutionary in a sense. And so I made that video yesterday, like XRP hate, calling out XRP haters. Where you at? Come at me. Let me know. And this video brought up a lot of good points. A lot of good points. Basically, the idea that first off, the cost of XRP to be used and sent makes it number one, the primary likely to be adopted for utility around the world. So him saying that there's no use for it without Ripple Labs, that's wrong, completely wrong. I think honestly, even if Ripple Labs decided to fork, tomorrow, and they decided to move away from it in a completely different direction, that basically would still leave a functioning XRP ledger that'd be beautiful and amazing for people to build on top of. And again, I don't see a lot of the arguments even really catching up with XRP yet. I think this guy's very pro EOS. He was just talking about how he really likes EOS because it's got this governance and this control in it. And so you can see that everybody's got a different position here. The more they do their research and the more they take a stance, it's really kind of like a political position that they're in as far as their relationship to some of these markets or some of these coins. And I've said in the past that I really like Litecoin, and so him saying it's just a $5 billion test net, it's really overvalued. I think that's great. It's good to hear. It's good to hear ideas that challenge our beliefs, so we can really become we can learn how to weather the storm. We can learn how to deal with the wind when it blows, so that our roots strengthen and our ability to weather the upcoming storms improves. So he said also the SEC thing. He was like, I think XRP is going to be declared a security by the SEC. This guy, Jake Chervinsky, does a great job of defudding that whole thing. This whole thread's great. First off, if you're waiting for B. Garlinghouse to be taken out on his perp walk, you might want to not hold your breath. First, keep in mind that the SEC's guidance is not the law. If you're looking for what happened yesterday, this is a very old tweet, so it has no reference to what happened yesterday. The SEC's current and non-binding interpretation of the law is basically just that. It's their current interpretation. Ultimately, what is a security or isn't a security will be determined by the courts through litigation. That's how we got the Howey test in the first place. The SEC is surely confident that its guidance will hold up in court, but regulatory agencies don't always get it right. For example, take the CFTC's recent loss in the Monex litigation, the meaning of actual delivery of precious metals. The term changed in the middle of the lawsuit. So Eventually, a crypto company under SEC investigation will decide to fight back and take the SEC to court. We'll find out, and then we'll find out if the SEC's guidance stands up to scrutiny. How does the SEC improve its chance to win this case? It starts by going after low-hanging fruit. So it's going to go after low-hanging fruit, the obvious securities issued by crypto companies that don't have the money, experience, etc. to fight back. You know what Ripple is? Not that. Ripple is not a low-hanging fruit. Ripple is the very opposite of a low-hanging fruit. So the point is, even if you're convinced that XRP is a security, the SEC will still likely start by going after other easier targets. There are plenty of BitConnect-style Ponzi schemes and outright frauds in the market, and the SEC has only so many resources for crypto. Okay, so let's assume the SEC does go after Ripple. What does that look like? Generally, prosecutors don't approach corporate regulatory offenses with guns blazing. You have to really piss someone off to get your office raided by the FBI. So there's a few more. Another one. Enforcement actions are usually careful and calculated, considering the DOJ's principle of federal prosecution of business organization, which says prosecutors owe a duty of thoughtful analysis to corporation shareholders before filing charges. That means that enforcement agencies also have to keep ongoing corporate investigations and settlement discussions confidential. This is largely to protect the corporation, because the mere accusation of wrongdoing can cause a bunch of damage for investors and shareholders. The less established the corporation and the less legitimate its conduct, the more aggressive prosecutors can be, but corporations with lots of shareholders, employees, connections, and money are rarely charged without a lengthy negotiation process. All this is to say that we may not know what the SEC thinks of XRP until the case has already been settled. Dozens of 8- and 9-figure cases have only been revealed after years of investigation and settlement discussions. Even if XRP is a security, there are many potential outcomes that leave Ripple standing: non-prosecution agreements, deferred prosecution agreements, fines, compliance, monitors. You get the idea. Conclusion: if it's not financial or legal advice, I do not personally recommend shorting XRP. Last thing he says is that this is not something he can be held accountable for. This is just his opinion. It does not represent his law firm in any way. So I really like this thread. I really like the answers he put out here, and I thought it was really nice for him to go through and explain all of these, piece by piece, to take the time to write this out. That was very, very nice. Very, very nice. Mwah. I appreciate it. And so the SEC thing, I feel like that's just a moot point. Like, let's just throw it out the window. Moot point. I don't remember what else he said. What else did he say that was slam and FUD? The 5% loss, he said, for example, that would happen with a transfer. That's pretty crazy because let's refresh CoinMarketCap. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Refresh. How many drops did it change? How many drops did it change? Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Refresh. How many drops did it change? You guys see any drop difference? Yeah, so there's no difference. Literally zero drop difference in the 5-second exchange time. So, 5% loss is pretty hard to imagine. That's some crazy volatility. 5% inside 3 seconds, that's insane volatility that he's projecting. Maybe he's thinking of Bitcoin. Maybe he's thinking of Bitcoin block time. XRP's settlement in 3 seconds basically alleviates that volatility issue. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know why he thinks it's going to have a 5% loss on a remittance, because I don't understand. How's that going to happen? So again, looking at this whole thing, I think it's interesting for him to have a conversation and for us to be able to listen to it. I think that's important for us to be able to listen to a conversation. He's obviously got his supports in EOS and Bitcoin, and that's okay. But another defudder out there, another defudder working hard today was David Schwartz. David Schwartz is always defudding. He's such a good defudderer, that guy. He's my role model. He's the master. He's sensei. He's like Pai Mei. I feel like I gotta make that. I gotta fix that. I gotta put that in somewhere. Pai Mei is David Schwartz now. David Schwartz is now Pai Mei. So yeah, David Schwartz took to Twitter. He always takes to Twitter I don't know where he did this defutting, but he basically responded to Roger Ver's article yesterday about Ripple and XRP, saying he really kind of just threw a bunch of FUD at Ripple and XRP that really didn't make any sense. And I think interestingly enough, even looking back at this interview with Tushar Jain, he's literally saying he's pulled out of the market because he doesn't know. He's pulled out of the market entirely. That's the first thing he said in the beginning of the video. He was like, I pulled out of the market because we don't know where the bottom is, and we're really not sure how to basically stay neutral right now to stay out of the market. So, at least he's smart enough to know that. His assessments of XRP and his assessments of Ripple Labs, I'll have to go through and tear this apart in a whole individual video, but you can see that, just like he said, a lot of people are coming to this space. A lot of people are showing up. A lot of people are about to innovate in this space. And I like his analogy that he said, when we were growing up, the two rules growing up were don't meet people on the internet and don't get in strangers' cars. I kind of like his analogy use there because he's right. We do meet people on the internet now. Like, it's not a big deal. And we even meet people like for casually in meetups and stuff on the internet, and we get in strangers' cars because of Uber and Lyft. So exactly what he's saying is that we can't really anticipate exactly where this is going to go. We can't be sure where all this is going to go. And again, the more I look at it, I respect these people that are not necessarily XRP supporters because they fuel my ability to understand the argument against XRP, which actually fuels my ability to take part in that conversation and cheerlead XRP, my favorite. So exactly as he's saying that the use is zero, like there's no use for XRP away from Ripple Labs, we can already see that that's not true. With a bunch of different things being built. We haven't even looked at the poly sign that David Schwartz is building out. We haven't even looked at Coil very much recently. But basically, all the things that pull the XRP's use and utility away from financial institutions. Farshad, good morning. Oh, I should let the robot say it. It will say it. David, okay, I would love to see this as well. The Feds determined XRP as a digital currency in 2015. No other government agency can overrule it. People are getting used to the FUD. He literally talked from beginning to end. Robert Rozowski is talking about how the EFT decision yesterday was not actually real news, that someone started that and it's not real news, that decision. Even if it was or wasn't real news, it's not a final decision. They can always appeal that. Someone else could apply for those. It's definitely not. There's no finality in that announcement at all. So the fact that you can see, I think honestly one of the most important things that's interesting to look at this is that he's a knowledgeable crypto investor, and he's saying he wants to short XRP. And I potentially think that his attachment and interest in EOS long term might be the reason that he turns back to an XRP supporter. Because what he's saying he thinks he likes about EOS, like he's saying he likes the ability for them to launch smart contracts and have governance and take part in freezing funds. All those things that he's talking about that he likes, XRP took the foresight to build out not only an open, neutral ledger that works for everyone around the world, not just FIs and not just corporations, but also SMEs, small to medium-sized business enterprises can use XRP. Literally anybody can use it and benefit from the low transaction costs and the benefit of having a true store of value. But interestingly enough, the same thing he likes about EOS is what I keep saying. I keep talking about this the last few days about the idea of putting smart contracts in Codius on XRP. And so the reason that he thinks he likes EOS is actually the reason that I think he will eventually like XRP, or possibly at least entertain the reason XRP is so good. So I don't know if you guys want to finish this, but I really want to finish this. And I think that there's some things that he was saying that I wanted to touch on, and I forgot what they were. So we have about 6 more minutes of this, and I'm going to play it. And I'll chat with you guys in the comments if you guys have some questions. And then we have a little bit of news coming out today, also talking about some other things breaking. We'll do the Ripple CTO, David Schwartz DFUDs, Roger Ver statements. Pretty chill, but I want to finish this. I think this is good to listen to. So you're saying no, I understand it's rough. 6 minutes, and then it'll be you and me, 6 minutes, and we'll be right back here to talk about this guy's ideas. I was going to go back and look at some of the other stuff he said, but we're not. We're going to play it from right here. So just 1 second.
It reminds me very much of the way that Bitcoiners thought about Ethereum when it launched. And especially how they thought about Ethereum after the DAO hack. Crypto is an industry with really short memory. And it's because things move so quickly, right? I can't blame the industry. It's just that things are moving so fast. It's really hard to remember. But I remember the DAO hack, right? And I remember how the Bitcoiners saw Ethereum at the time. And they were like, this is too centralized. Vitalik made this decision. And this was a bad decision. You should not be doing this. And it sounds eerily similar to what we're hearing now. That being said, past performance is no guarantee of future results, right? There's no absolute certainty that this will turn out the same way. But I think that looking at those just mainstream reaction criticisms is not the best way to make informed decisions. I think you need to step back, think about this from first principles, understand that they are choosing fundamentally different trade-offs. They're trying to build something different. They are not. EOS is not going after Bitcoin. It's not trying to build the same thing as
or
Bitcoin.
Ethereum.
It is going after Ethereum.
Okay.
It is. The EOS platform would be very happy if people started moving from Ethereum to EOS. Absolutely. But they're not going after Bitcoin. They're going after a different value proposition. And it's just something that, once again, we just don't know that we want yet. Developers haven't built anything on it yet, really. There's some proof of concepts, but it's a month old. There are a lot of things that are enabled here that we just don't even know that we want yet. And for me, the most compelling piece about EOS is the huge design space that it opens up that was just never possible before.
Tushar, thank you very much. I know that crypto may have a short memory, but crypto Twitter doesn't have a short memory. And everything that you've said here, you will be called on crypto Twitter. That's our good friend Tushar Jain, and he really is one of the smartest guys in crypto. All the talk about EOS and the block producers.
All right, so there was actually no more time of that left. That was pretty much over. And that's one of the interesting things he just said right here.
Once again, we just don't know that we want yet.
We just don't know that we want it yet. Can I replicate that eye roll? Awesome eye roll, bro. Awesome eye roll. That was a fast 6 minutes. I agree, Jill. I thought there was a little more to that video. I think it cuts away and he talks about it. So exactly for the reason that he thinks EOS is so strong is the same reason, and I'm not saying no to EOS, I'm just saying yes to XRP. Again, looking at the fact that you have to trust your EOS block producers and their whole system of governance, I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. And if we look at the video yesterday talking about, we literally did the XRP video yesterday that's XRP hate, and we talked about where are these haters? Where are they coming from? What do they actually know? And he literally just outlined what we said in that video, saying, he said, what did he just say? I just forgot. He literally just said it. He was like, we were not ready. We were not expecting that. We were not, what did he say? I have to watch that again.
The EOS platform would be very happy if people started moving from Ethereum to EOS. Absolutely. But
of course
they're not going after Bitcoin. They're going after a different value proposition. And it's just something that, once again, we just don't know that we want yet.
We just don't know we want it yet. Oh, so I like what he said before that too. They're going after a different value proposition. So whether or not this guy understands XRP's long-term use case, that was possibly one of the best things to hear from him, is that at least he recognizes that we just don't know we want it yet. And potentially that's the way I feel about XRP in a sense, because people are still people are still just approaching EOS. People are still entering into Bitcoin. And what that specifically means is that just as he's saying people are going to show up and they're going to be developers are being pulled into the EOS space and they're going to build and launch on EOS, eventually I think that there's going to be, just like he said, crypto has a short memory. Crypto has a very short memory. As soon as it's useful, as soon as it's working and other people are building on top of it, everyone's going to rush in. Everyone's going to rush in on it. So it's not that hard to see that, with the one that's going to be, it's never been hacked. It's never had an issue closing a block. Very, very fast. Very, very low cost per transaction or write or whatever. If you're looking at it from a Codius host perspective, the cost comparison is astronomically cheaper. So the fact that he thinks EOS is sipping on Ethereum and that those two are competing with each other, it almost sounds like a distraction. Like, pay attention to Ethereum and EOS, but don't worry, we'll be buying XRP in the background. No big deal. Yeah, Daz GC, I'm glad you dumped EOS at $17 as well, and hopefully you bought yourself some more XRP. So you can see a lot of times when you watch these videos that this one you might have thought right at the beginning, you were like, he said short XRP, I'm not going to listen anymore. But in reality, the other things he said were really kind of knowledgeable and very helpful insights to understand how you might be a really early adopter to a winning tech that no one knows or understands its use yet. He said literally XRP has no use if Ripple Labs stops using it for XRapid, and that's not true at all. We know the ILPs launching and being worked on. We know Coil with Stefan Thomas is building on top of it, micropayments on top of it. We also haven't even looked at this very much, but the idea of PolySign coming out, looking at how to help companies, I think, launch with connections to ILP. More of those types of things. Honestly, I just saw your comment, Drizzy. That's funny. He looks like a maniac. So a lot of those things coming out still, and I think it's just a increased adoption phase over time. His reasons for cheerleading why he likes EOS is the same reason people will eventually come around to XRP. So looking at these quick little tweetbacks from David Schwartz, Roger Ver is just such an irritating person, honestly. He started off, and that's actually what David Schwartz says in here. He says, the idea behind XRP was to create a better version of Bitcoin, which has no requirement of mining, since Jed thought that mining was wasteful. This would use less electricity and could do everything Bitcoin can in a reliable and uncontrollable way. Since Bitcoin was unable to get traction and the whole market cap of Bitcoin was $10 million and was trading at $2 each, Roger Ver invested in Ripple. Did you guys know that? Roger Ver was one of the first investors in Ripple when it was Ripple Pay, I think, back when it was Ripple Pay. Furthermore, Roger said that Ripple is better than the banking system where users have to pay $35 to send a wire transaction if it winds up getting the mainstream adoption. However, it's not that much better because Ripple can freeze users' accounts. Why do we keep hearing this? Why do people keep saying this? Oh yeah, because they just don't know. Yesterday I was tweeting with someone and we were talking about the fact that someone, I forget exactly what the conversation was, but they were saying Ripple Labs is entertaining the idea of creating a censorship model inside XRP, and I was like, whoa, no they aren't. I don't know where they're getting this information from. Why would they do that? Why would XRP sacrifice this beautiful, amazing thing they made? I was going to make up some analogy, like a boat. I don't know. The sweet car. Why would they give away this sweet car they made? Why would they change the core code for their liquidity? I saw some notification and I lost my train of thought. Why would they give up and change the notification or change up the core code when they could just change the application layer on top, right? They can just launch a smart contract that offers all these functions. So the XRP ledger does not have a freeze function, but let's say that you were using an application layer on top of XRP, you could build a freeze function in. So if you had a smart contract or if you had an exchange or something functioning on top of XRP, you could build in that freeze function. It's in the ledger, but again, it takes the decision of the issuance of the asset to freeze it. So, looking at how he defuds this, he says, "It's genuinely baffling to me how Roger Ver went from a person who was driven entirely by devotion to principles of individual liberty to someone who will lie and distort the truth to advance a system he invested in." Roger Ver. Then David Schwartz added, "I don't doubt that he believes that system advances his principles and that those principles are still important to him. His tactics, however, are entirely unprincipled. He's too smart to actually believe some of his claims." In addition to this, Dr. T, a Ripple influencer, you guys ever heard of that guy on Twitter, Dr. T? He asked Schwartz for more input on AMB's crypto Twitter handle, to which he said, "When people repeat Ripple can freeze FUD, I just point back to this tweet." This tweet David Schwartz made, it's saying that assets that reflect legal obligations, which XRP is not, can cease to exist due to actions in the outside world. If you wish to trade legal obligations on a decentralized ledger, which is 100% opt-in, then the ledger has to provide a way to reflect those actions. So here's what we're talking about. People are always talking about they're going to change XRP to reflect the needs of these individuals or these corporations. And I keep saying, no, they won't. No, they don't need to. I think that obviously people are expecting the base layer of XRP to serve its use to a censorship model or to be changed to work for, someone else, but it's not. That's not the way it works. They built XRP with a lot of foresight in mind. They built XRP understanding kind of where we're heading, and they're not gonna change the allocations on the ledger to allow that. So here he explains further. Issuances are contracts that represent legal obligations on the XRP ledger. David clarified the XRP ledger has a freeze feature for other assets on the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger allows for the trading of issuances or assets, and only the issuer of the asset can freeze the asset. So, easily debunked. Part of something we covered yesterday, I think, in the XRP hate as well. So, how are you guys feeling with that? We did a lot of XRP right off the bat. XRP also in the news today, Ripple possibly decoupling from Bitcoin. The Ripple edition of BitTrue yesterday, which is something we didn't cover yesterday morning, but BitTrue basically launched a crypto exchange. The base coin is XRP. This is some article on AMB Crypto with Charlie Lee saying XRP's price is artificially inflated, but this is the second exchange that came out yesterday basically to launch with XRP as their base currency, and that probably benefits or aids the pairing or decoupling the pairing of XRP to other fiats. So right here, BitTrue Exchange launches with XRP as base currency. This is actually pretty in-depth. If you look at this as an indicator looking forward, this is pretty interesting to look at. The second exchange to launch with XRP as a base currency. Do they understand where we're headed? Probably so. Japanese crypto exchanges working on lowering margin trading limits. So you can see that a lot of news right now is just kind of happening on the other side of the world. There's a lot of things happening that we're not even really part of over here in the States. We have a very insular existence over here in the States. We're just waiting for the SEC to get done dancing around. Get done with your dance. The stock exchange crypto platform open to the public with 6 cryptocurrencies. The GBX Grid has completed its first token sale with 3 new projects planned. Looking at launching more exchanges already. The one that yesterday, BitTrue, that launched with XRP, you guys can sign up for already. Like, it's already open for signups. And honestly, I was thinking that this looked really cool, and I was like, this looks great. I love them. And I was feeling like really good about their idea to basically kind of vet ICOs that go on their platform up until I saw that they decided to mention McAfee security. Then I was like, what? So a little less excited about their partnership with McAfee. Maybe I'm wrong about that feeling. That's just something that did not necessarily strike me as the best move necessarily. But still looking at a good news indicator for XRP, the base currency for their new exchange. For their new exchange, Bitcoin Cash Fund, to help promote future millionaire makers drawings. So basically, it's like a Bitcoin Cash lottery. I think maybe they're stealing my ideas. It basically looks like a meme subreddit that somebody wins. That someone wins. So they basically stole my meme setup. The lottery-style forum is allowing Bitcoin Cash donations with the tipper and chain tip. So someone developed a Reddit tip bot for Bitcoin Cash, basically, and now they have basically a Bitcoin Cash meme lottery, is what it looks like. So you can submit a meme to their Reddit and win the lottery. They basically just stole my entire meme structure. I have a subreddit. If you guys didn't know, I pay you guys to put XRP memes in there. Put any meme in there. Put some Winklevoss twin memes in there. Put some Bitcoin Cash memes in there. I don't care. Very XRP heavy meme contest. Hey, quiet, Ground Zero. We're an innovator, okay? We're an innovator over here. FINMA launches proceedings against 100 million ICO. So a press release published by the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority has revealed that the regulator has initiated enforcement proceedings against Invion AG. You guys remember that Invion ICO when it was running ads everywhere? You guys remember it? The Invion ICO, they had like those storage containers that they were putting their miners in, and they were just dropping them everywhere. They were like, we're dropping our miners in these storage containers everywhere. It's going to be great. I was like, what? Why? Why? But why? But why? So Invion AG white paper opens with a legal disclaimer stating that neither the Swiss FINMA nor the United States Securities and Exchange Commission nor any other foreign regulator authority has approved the investment of the tokens. So they might be in trouble. Pretty much a lot of people looking like they're just trying to get themselves in trouble. You know, they're like, oh, I could have an easy life and get a lot of, just chilling done. No, I'm going to make a problem for myself. So here's BitTrue, the exchange that just went live with XRP as their base currency. I saw someone show up and basically comment, I think I made this announcement somewhere on Twitter, and someone was like, I went to their site, they have XRP paired to Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, and I left. And I was like, okay. I mean, I don't know what they expected. I guess they expected like a bunch of alts to be paired to XRP. I have no idea. Maybe they will be, maybe they won't be. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what's happening with this, but you can sign up right now and join this exchange, again, with the base currency being XRP. This Polynex is officially in trouble after ignoring hordes of complaining customers. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil did not seem to work for them. It did not seem to work. So the Polynex KYC woes, there's a whole bunch of nonsense right here and what's happening with that. The top 10 crypto deals in 2017 returned over 136,000% on average, report shows. So this is honestly probably one of the things that most people are really interested in is 136,000% return. Tell me more. Tell me more. Out of all the crypto projects that raised a minimum of $1 million in 2017, IOTA clinched a staggering 614,000% return for investors, sealing the top spot in the research rankings. So IOTA did a good job. Next and Ethereum all doing some pretty good rankings, putting them in next at 500,000% in 2017. So here's a little chart they made. The top 3 crypto deals, I guess, from ICO to launch that they noticed did real well. Honestly, ICOs seem like they were so last year. There'll probably be some good ones this year and some good ones next year as well. But there were so many. Honestly, it was really hard to spot those unique possibilities, those unique investment options. So if you found them, good for you. CME will not introduce altcoin futures anytime soon. That's not a surprise. No, crypto isn't just for libertarians anymore. Okay, tell me more. Tell me more. Political leanings of cryptocurrency community. So looking at libertarian and liberal taking a big chunk, conservative at 21%, socialist at 9%, anarcho-capitalist at 8%. Honestly, the lowest group, anarcho-capitalist. That's crazy. So left versus right political spectrum. The right, left, and the nihilist. No big deal. No big deal there. Why blockchain's becoming the new normal in enterprise? Well, costs of centralization is probably one of the best things you can look at. If you guys remember the Arsha R. Burlish, what is that guy's name? Something Burlish and David Schwartz did an AMA, and one of my favorite things was David Schwartz talking about the cost of centralization. In reality, because a lot of these people are building out competing infrastructures, right? So the fact that they're building out these competing infrastructures all the time, it takes away from the final manifest. Thank you, Farshad.
I listen to you because you are funny and smart.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Thanks, Farshad, for the support. Happy to be here. Happy you're here as well. So I love that AMA with David Schwartz and Ashish Burla. Thank you, David. Ashish Burla. And I liked the answer David Schwartz gave when they asked him, what do you think is, I forget what actually they asked him, but his answer was, people don't want to build out billion-dollar competing infrastructures. So the fact that XRP's created this worldwide liquidity pool that gives access to the sharing of value, basically the internet of value. It's a huge, huge revolution taking place. And just like the video we talked about yesterday, the XRP ledger is still being discussed and understood. It's still being researched for a potential platform to develop on. So we can see that there's a long time frame of people still just entertaining the idea of looking at Ethereum, looking at Ether, looking at EOS, looking at the governance of EOS, looking at smart contracts. Where can I get the most bang for my buck? And just like Stuart XRP just said, XRP, Codius, when you put those together, what's the purpose of Ethereum? And when you put those together, what's the purpose of EOS? Because you can have this interoperable open blockchain that no one has governance over, and on top of that, you can build all those governance models that EOS is trying to build. So it's almost like this beautiful combination. It's like XRP is this beautiful paradox. XRP is like this beautiful manifestation of duality, where it gives the option to create a centralized system on top of a decentralized structure. And so you can see the issue is if you develop a decentralized system, like if let's say we developed EOS. Let's say we were the EOS developers. We built this decentralized system, but we want to reverse interact with a legacy system. That's the problem that a lot of these blockchains are having, is they don't have the ability to reverse interface, because that's the point of failure, right? So they don't have the ability to interact interoperably with these legacy systems. That's the point of failure, because the legacy system, it has this one authoritative position. So you can see in reality that the long answer basically to the question is, what is the cost of centralization? So you look at, like, if you build the root or the foundation of your platform as a centralized structure, then that limits your ability looking forward. But if the foundation of your structure is a decentralized ledger, and then you build centralized structures on top of that that can access the decentralized nature, that I think is a stronger manifestation than you can't build a decentralized system on top of a centralized authority. That's no longer a decentralized system, right? Because it has that single point of failure. So looking at the reality that XRP's ledger, or Ripple Labs, understands the internet of value moving forward, I think a lot better than most people do. And I can respect that there's a lot of people in this space that are very smart. I can respect that this guy has an opinion, and that he's in charge of other people's money, and he's going to do the best with the knowledge he has. And the fact that he was just telling us that He thinks, the possibility of EOS being, not understood is kind of the same reason that we think, XRP is not really understood. So potentially there's a lesson in here, and I think the lesson really is to look at the long use case of this adoption and where things are going. And again, looking at the reality that putting all of the support for like Bitcoin in the miners' hands, or putting all the support of EOS in the block producers' hands, a lot of that leads to a single point of failure in my mind with the incentivization of profit. And the fact that Ripple Labs built out their ledger to be powered by financial institutions that run it for their own benefit to keep the ledger running, I think that potentially opens up a lot of use cases for people like SMEs, small to medium-sized enterprises, that have the option to basically build out on top of this infrastructure that's been created, this billion-dollar infrastructure. So instead of competing to build their own infrastructure to compete on top of, they can compete on this infrastructure level. So it sounds... Honestly, sometimes when I listen to myself talk, I'm like, this is so heady. This is so much. If you ever need to step it back and scale it back, just look at, look back to the root of these issues. Look back to the root of of databases and computers as they're being developed. Where did the internet come from? Where did the internet come from? It was a CERN test server for communicating and sharing information, right? So developing the STP or IP protocol. No one could see where this is headed. And all that we're saying is potentially, even if there's a bunch of smart people looking at making use of blockchain tech for right now, again, referencing the video earlier, crypto is a very short memory, and we still may not really understand what the use case for some of these things are. So that's a pretty good explanation for the cost of centralization. The cost of centralization, meaning that basically, going back to this article, I might have closed it already, but looking at the, wherever it was, the reasons that companies are basically building on top of blockchain. The reason that companies are basically, this is the same article. What am I talking about? Why blockchain is becoming the new normal is because it costs too much to not have it that way. It costs too much to not have it that way. So then look at the competing blockchain techs and look at where we're headed. So yeah, the fact that Cobalt's coming out right at the end of the year is a little bit suspect. It's a little bit suspect. I'm calling master plan. I'm calling they have a master plan. That's right. Cobalt drop is part of their master plan. And I can see it happening. It looks good. So, Spread the Standard's talking about what I tweeted yesterday was basically VeChain launched their mainnet. You guys saw that VeChain had like a 30% run in the day. It went way, way up. And then I saw someone else, I think I saw Jill tweet about how VeChain was 2 cents on Binance. And I was like, what? So I went and looked into it. VeChain Thor, you guys can see this. VeChain Thor mainnet was launched, and Ven is currently swapping to VET. So the VeChain Thor mainnet was launched yesterday, and Ven is currently swapping for VET. So for more information, read the official blog post. And then I tweeted that entire thing out. Whoa, don't freeze on me. Don't freeze! Looking at XRP Believers Twitter, I tweeted that whole thing out yesterday. I said, sign up for Binance, and where is it? Here it is. To sign up for this airdrop, all you have to do is be on Binance. So I was just looking at this. I just logged into Binance to see what was happening. And one of the things I love about Binance is they do put these notifications up on their announcement page. So you can literally, when you log in, they told me, hey, yo, what's up? To celebrate the launch of VeChain's mainnet, the VET team's providing 100 million VTHO tokens to be airdropped to all Binance users holding VET. So 100 million VTHO will be split between all users holding VET at the beginning of next month, the first of next month. So I basically traded 2 of my BNB. I traded 2 BNB, so about $25 worth of BNB to get like 1,200 VET. And I just did that because I was like, hey, I got some extra BNB. And even though I just did that, and then of course BNB took a run this morning. BNB is like up 3%, but whatever, no big deal. I ain't tripping about it. Spread the Standard just asked about this, so I was just gonna. This is literally just for you, Sean. This is what I was talking about yesterday on Twitter. Again, I don't know if you guys are interested in VeChain or anything. We're all very XRP heavy over here, so that's just something I tweeted about. No big deal. And then also looking at the BitTrue yesterday, BitTrue's got an interesting thing where they're kind of paired to WanChain, and WanChain's basically just opened up a gateway with Ethereum. So WanChain actually just went interoperable with Ethereum. That was an interesting thing that happened. If you guys are actually interested in the BitTrue, if you guys are actually interested in the BitTrue launch that happened, it's interesting to look at the BitTrue decentralized exchange, because they have a pretty strong association to WanChain. So BitTrue has a pretty strong association to WanChain. WanChain 2 just went live. It basically allows for interoperability with Ethereum. WanChain is something that I looked at a while ago. I'm looking at basically providing interoperability solutions for BTC and Ethereum in a sense right now before the ILP. So possibly something interesting to look at if you're into doing some research about the BitTrue exchange. They are pretty closely tied to WanChain. WanChain did just create a gateway for Ethereum. So interesting things to look at there for Shrizzle. So that's about all we're going to do for today. For the update, we've got a video coming out later. It's very, very heavy on the memes. It's a meme-heavy video. And look at the refresh on CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin's up to 8.2 again. That's pretty crazy. Bitcoin literally was at 7.9 at the beginning of this video. It was at 7,900, and we were at 288 billion. Inside the hour this morning, we've seen Bitcoin go back up above 8K. It's at 8,200, and the market's right under 300 billion. So that's pretty exciting. Very cool, very cool. Spread the Standard, I did see that. I did see that coin. I'm still kind of thinking about it and looking at it, and just I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be much more than like a gift card or like a non-fungible token in the long run. I like the idea of it, and I like that it's built on XRP. That's very cool. But I don't know if gaming tokens do that well. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that more before I really give it any stamp of a decision. But I did see that. So Bitcoin's up inside the hour. Ethereum's still at below 500. XRP is still below 50 cents. Bitcoin Cash is mirroring Bitcoin. It's up a little bit. EOS is at $8 still. Stellar's at 32 cents. The volume for all the tokens, if we look down the volume list, there's nothing unusual happening except for Tron passing XRP. Tron passing XRP, guys, in volume. And I don't know if we announced it officially or did a lot of coverage of it. I think I did mention it to you guys that Tron acquired BitTorrent. Tron is making some strong moves, honestly. And you guys always ask me about Tron, and I think I'm going to do a whole Tron update video about Tron. Their volume's up above XRP right now. Again, they're below 4 cents, but they did just complete their acquisition of BitTorrent. BitTorrent acquisition. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. Clara B. Snowden and Spread the Standard Sean, two of my new favorite XRP influencers, both have started a channel recently, and I checked out both of their channels and I subscribed to both of them because they're cool. Ray Rodriguez, I am still planning on making an XRP music video. Yes, yes, yes. The problem is that I barely have time to do these live streams and my edit videos, and believe it or not, I actually am very poor. I have to work all the time to pay my bills. So I love the idea of making a rap video, but it's very time consuming. And in reality, I like this idea, but it's very challenging for me to afford the time to do it. But again, I'm happy to do it because I love it, because I'm excited about it. I'm hoping to finish my XRP rap video right as XRP needs me the most. Maybe right as there's some kind of issue, and I was like, oh, don't worry, guys, I got you with an XRP wrap. So keeping the people informed, keeping people excited about XRP. Honestly, my real challenge with the XRP rap video is I just want it to be good enough. I just want it to be good enough for XRP. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants some lame, not good XRP rap, right? It's got to be really, really good. So, yeah, the fact that I'm still, this last week was really rough for me catching up. This week was really rough for me catching up on work and trying to finish some videos, and I am basically a little behind on another project. So I will happily be releasing, obviously, more content. I'll be back tomorrow morning for our live stream, and don't forget the ideas. Don't forget to put your ideas into meme format. Put your ideas into XRP memes and drop them in our XRP subreddit. Saturday we do the XRP meme giveaway, and you can pick someone to send XRP to. And then XRP grind, I still have not sent someone XRP for you. I feel like you told me someone yesterday, and I forgot. I forgot who it was. So let me know again, XRP grind, who you want me to send XRP to. Don't forget to make your memes, drop them in the subreddit. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Click that like button. Give me a thumbs up. Cheers. I appreciate you guys' support. As always, have a great day until I see you next time. Farewell. Farewell. Cheers. I know. It's rough. Party's over, though.